Most men think attraction disappears because of looks, money, or status. But in many relationships, a woman slowly loses desire long before the relationship officially breaks. And the hidden reason is often emotional disconnection. At the beginning, she felt seen, heard, wanted. Your attention had energy behind it. You listened carefully, made her feel important, and created emotional excitement. But over time, many men become emotionally predictable. Conversations become dry, effort becomes minimal, presence becomes weak. Female psychology works differently from male psychology. For many women, desire is deeply connected to emotions. If she no longer feels emotionally alive around you, physical attraction starts fading too. This doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small moments. You stop noticing her mood. You stop flirting. You become distracted. Your conversations become practical instead of emotional. You only talk about problems, work, bills, or stress. And slowly she begins feeling alone even while sitting next to you. A woman can stay loyal while emotionally disconnecting at the same time. That's the dangerous part. She may still smile, she may still text you, she may still stay in the relationship, but internally, the emotional fire is dying. What many men fail to understand is this: women desire emotional presence more than emotional perfection. You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be flawless, but she wants to feel your energy, your confidence, your emotional leadership. When a man becomes emotionally passive, her attraction naturally weakens. Another hidden truth is that women are highly sensitive to emotional tension. If you constantly appear frustrated, insecure, needy, or emotionally dependent on her validation, she unconsciously starts seeing you differently. Desire cannot survive where emotional pressure constantly exists. The more a man chases reassurance, "Do you still love me? Why are you acting different? Who are you texting?" the weaker his emotional position becomes. And ironically, this pushes her even further away. Strong masculine energy is calm, centered, and emotionally controlled. It creates safety instead of pressure. That's why some men lose attraction without realizing what changed. They focus only on external things while ignoring the emotional atmosphere of the relationship. A woman wants to feel emotion when she's around you: excitement, curiosity, peace, tension, admiration, emotional depth. When those emotions disappear, desire slowly disappears too. And the worst part? Most men notice it only after she becomes cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable. By then, the connection has already been weakening for months. The hidden truth is simple: she didn't lose desire in one moment. She lost it through repeated emotional disconnection over time. One of the biggest attraction killers in relationships is not hatred, arguments, or distance, it's over availability. At the start of the relationship, she was curious about you. She wondered what you were thinking. She felt excitement before your calls and messages. There was emotional tension, unpredictability, and mystery. But many men slowly destroy that tension without realizing it. They become emotionally dependent on the relationship. Their entire happiness starts revolving around her attention, her mood, and her validation. Instead of leading their own life, they begin chasing emotional approval every single day. And female psychology notices this immediately. A woman may say she wants constant attention, but attraction works differently from comfort. Too much availability often removes emotional excitement. When a man becomes completely predictable, desire starts fading. Why? Because mystery creates emotional stimulation. If she already knows, you'll always text first, always agree, always forgive instantly, always be available, always tolerate disrespect, then she no longer feels emotional uncertainty. And uncertainty is a powerful part of attraction. This doesn't mean playing toxic games or acting cold. It means maintaining your individuality, purpose, and emotional independence. Many men make the mistake of turning the relationship into their entire identity. They stop improving themselves, stop pursuing goals, stop challenging themselves, stop living with ambition. Their world becomes smaller. And when a man loses his personal mission, women often subconsciously lose admiration for him. admiration is deeply connected to desire. A woman wants to feel that her man has direction, purpose, standards, self respect. But when she senses that you're emotionally afraid of losing her, the power dynamic changes. Now she feels emotionally above you instead of emotionally drawn to you. This is where many relationships quietly collapse. The man starts overgiving, constant texting, constant checking, constant reassurance, constant chasing, and the woman slowly pulls away. Not because she's evil, but because attraction needs space to breathe. Think about it. People value what feels meaningful, not what feels endlessly guaranteed. When you become too easy emotionally, your presence loses impact. This is why confident men often appear more attractive. They are loving, but they are not emotionally desperate. They care deeply, but they still maintain self control and independence. A woman wants love, but she also wants to feel respect for the man she's with. And respect disappears when a man abandons his standards just to keep her happy. The hidden truth is this: desire grows when a woman feels she's with a man who chooses her, not a man who desperately needs her. The moment you stop leading your own life and start orbiting around hers, attraction begins to fade silently. And many men never realize this until she emotionally checks out completely. One of the deepest truths about female psychology is something most men never hear. A woman's desire often depends on how she feels about herself when she's with you. At the beginning of a relationship, she felt feminine, desired, playful, and emotionally alive. Your energy pulled that side out of her naturally. She laughed more, dressed up more, flirted more. She wanted your attention because it made her feel attractive and emotionally connected. But over time, something changed. The relationship became heavy. Conversations became stressful. Criticism became frequent. Emotional tension replaced emotional excitement. Instead of feeling feminine around you, she started feeling emotionally exhausted. And when a woman no longer feels emotionally feminine in your presence, desire slowly disappears. Many men unknowingly create this dynamic. They become controlling, negative, reactive, or constantly irritated. Every conversation turns into correction, pressure, or conflict. The relationship stops feeling emotionally safe and starts feeling emotionally draining. Female attraction struggles to survive inside constant emotional heaviness. This is why some women suddenly seem different. She stops dressing up, stops flirting, stops initiating affection, stops showing excitement. Most men think she changed, but often her emotional state inside the relationship changed first. A woman naturally opens emotionally when she feels appreciated, emotionally relaxed, admired, safe, desired without pressure. But when she constantly feels judged, ignored, or emotionally burdened, her softer emotional side slowly shuts down. Another hidden truth is that masculine and feminine energy feed each other psychologically. If a man becomes emotionally chaotic, overly reactive, insecure, or dependent, the woman unconsciously starts moving into emotional leadership herself. She feels forced to manage the relationship emotionally, and once that happens, attraction often weakens. Why? Because she no longer feels your grounded masculine presence. Many women don't consciously explain this. They simply say, "I don't feel the same anymore." But underneath that sentence is usually emotional imbalance. A woman wants to feel she can emotionally relax around her man. She doesn't want to constantly carry emotional tension, instability, or pressure. And this is where many relationships quietly fail. The man focuses only on loyalty and commitment, while ignoring emotional polarity and emotional energy. Desire is not maintained by routine alone, it's maintained by emotional experience. When she feels emotionally drained every time she interacts with you, her mind slowly disconnects desire from the relationship itself. The hidden truth is painful but important. Sometimes she doesn't lose attraction because another man appeared. Sometimes she loses attraction because the relationship no longer makes her feel emotionally feminine, free, and alive. And once that emotional feeling disappears, physical desire often disappears with it. Many men believe love is enough to keep attraction alive. But in female psychology, attraction and emotional respect are deeply connected. A woman can care about you, stay with you, even appreciate you, and still slowly lose desire if emotional respect disappears. This is the hidden truth most men never understand. Respect is not built through fear, control, or aggression. It's built through emotional strength, self respect, discipline, and the ability to remain centered under pressure. When a man constantly loses emotional control, attraction often begins to fade. This can happen in many ways: begging for attention, tolerating repeated disrespect, becoming emotionally needy, exploding in anger, constantly seeking validation, abandoning personal boundaries, acting weak under pressure. At first, she may comfort you, she may reassure you, but over time, repeated emotional instability changes how she sees you internally. Women naturally observe emotional behavior very carefully. How do you react to stress? How do you handle conflict? Can you stay calm under pressure? Do you respect yourself? Do other people respect you? Can you lead your emotions instead of being controlled by them? These things matter more than most men realize. A woman wants emotional connection, but she also wants to feel safe inside your emotional frame. If you become emotionally unpredictable, insecure, or overly dependent on her approval, that emotional safety starts collapsing. And once emotional respect weakens, physical attraction often follows. This is why some men become too nice in unhealthy ways. They stop standing for anything. They avoid difficult conversations. They sacrifice their dignity just to avoid losing her. But attraction cannot survive where self-respect disappears. Female psychology is strongly influenced by emotional perception. If she subconsciously feels that you don't value yourself, she slowly struggles to value you romantically too. Another painful truth: women often test emotional strength without realizing it consciously. Not through manipulation necessarily, but through disagreements, emotional distance, mood shifts, or challenging moments. And during those moments, your emotional response shapes how she sees you. A man who remains calm, grounded, and confident under pressure often becomes more attractive over time. But a man who reacts with panic, desperation, jealousy, or emotional chaos slowly weakens attraction. This doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means emotional maturity. Strong men still feel pain. They still care deeply, but they don't lose themselves emotionally every time the relationship becomes difficult. And this is where many men fail. They chase love while abandoning dignity. The hidden truth is this: a woman's desire grows when she emotionally respects the man beside her, not because he controls her, but because he controls himself. The moment emotional respect disappears, desire often begins fading silently, even if the relationship technically continues. By the time most men notice she's distant, cold, or emotionally disconnected, they usually panic. They start chasing harder, texting more, begging for reassurance, trying to force closeness. But this almost never rebuilds attraction. Why? Because desire cannot be negotiated. You cannot pressure someone into feeling emotional chemistry again. In fact, desperation usually pushes attraction even further away. The real solution begins when a man understands one powerful truth: a woman's desire is often a reflection of the emotional experience she has with you. If the relationship became emotionally heavy, predictable, needy, or draining, attraction slowly faded as a result, and rebuilding it requires changing the emotional dynamic, not just saying more romantic words. The first step is rebuilding yourself, not for manipulation, not to win her back, but to restore your own masculine energy, confidence, and emotional stability. Start asking yourself, have you stopped growing personally? Have you become emotionally dependent? Have you abandoned your purpose? Have you lost emotional control? Have you stopped creating excitement and emotional connection? These questions matter because many relationships don't collapse from one big betrayal. They collapse from slow emotional decay. The good news? What fades slowly can sometimes be rebuilt slowly too. Women often reconnect emotionally when they feel new energy from a man: confidence, emotional calmness, ambition, self respect, emotional leadership, playfulness, emotional presence. This is why self improvement changes relationship dynamics so powerfully. When a man becomes emotionally stronger, more disciplined, and more connected to his purpose, his energy changes naturally. He stops chasing validation, stops acting from fear, stops making the relationship the center of his identity, and ironically, this often makes him more attractive again. Another hidden truth is this: desire grows in emotional space. Sometimes the more pressure you apply, the colder she becomes. But when you stop forcing, stop panicking, and start rebuilding your own life, emotional tension can slowly return. Not because of manipulation, but because confidence and self respect are attractive. At the same time, rebuilding attraction also requires emotional connection. Listen better, flirt again, create emotional moments again, bring back curiosity and spontaneity, make her feel emotions instead of routine, because relationships die when they become emotionally lifeless. And finally, understand this clearly: you cannot force someone to desire you, but you can become the kind of man who naturally inspires attraction through his presence, mindset, confidence, and emotional strength. That is the hidden truth most men never learn. The goal is not to beg for desire. The goal is to become a man whose energy, purpose, and emotional stability make desire return naturally. And when you truly understand that, everything about relationships starts changing.